Did you know that every time you write a number or a letter, you've got the beginnings of a great cartoon sketch? Here, I'll show you. I'm going to write the letter A, and just by adding a few lines to it, watch this. Put a U shape here, a couple lines this way, a couple dots, a couple years, and there it is, a man with a toothy grin. Hi, I'm Bruce Blitz, and welcome to Cartooning with Blitz. And that's what we'll be doing today, creating finished cartoons from simple shapes. And for our feature of the day, something called Shake-a-Face. And this is a really neat little gimmick, and you can create tons of faces from it. And for our doodle trick, we'll draw a happy little boy, and with a surprise ending, we'll show you the reason why he's so happy. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so you ready? Let's get started. All right, let's start with just a couple shapes, and we're going to make these same shapes look different. Now watch what I mean. Notice how I move my hand around the page, and when I'm happy with that movement, I lower the pen to the page, and I get a nice loosely drawn oval. You don't want to start drawing that real tight way where you're gripping the pencil so tight, and you make that line, it's like squeaking. You don't want that. You want to get that loose look to your work. Okay, now we're going to start with the fellow on the left. And what we're going to do is we're going to put guidelines in. Now watch. These guidelines are just to tell us where to put the eyes and the nose and the features, things like that. So what we're going to do is put in his eyes. Now, I'm going to use these curved lines and two dots right there. And for the nose, well, let me see. I'll put a nose coming out like that and a smile. Instead of just making a complete U, I'll waver that line a little bit, make it a little more interesting. And his eyebrows and his ears, one on each side. Of course, this is your cartoon. You can put ears anywhere you want, I guess, but I put them on each side. And there's a character right there from an oval. Okay, now, what we're going to do now is we're going to use the same shape, but I'm going to show you this by repositioning the guidelines, and by changing the features around, you're going to get a whole different character. Now watch, here we go. Now, instead of putting the guidelines up there, I'm going to put them somewhere in the middle, like that. And instead of the white part of the eyes, I'll just do two dots and eyebrows. So already he's starting to look different. Instead of giving him a nose out like this, how about I give him a pug nose? How's that? And for his mouth, instead of having it right underneath his nose, I'll go all the way down there. And that really changes the character. And put his ears down a little bit lower. And for his hair, well, we'll change that too. So how about we make him bald? Just put a little bit of hair out the side. And we can kind of define that shape we started with. Let's put some lines on his forehead even. And there it is. So, same shape, two totally different characters. Now let's move on, and we'll start with a different shape. And I would like to show you just how easy it is to create a great cartoon woman. And we're going to use all the art supplies necessary to do this whole thing from beginning to end, step by step. Watch. We'll start with a triangular shape. Now, when I say a triangle, I'm using a pencil here, and it's a triangle, just like that. Now, I'm using an ordinary sketch pencil, and this is what I'm using to lay out my cartoon. Now, I'm going to go back in now and put the features in. Now, again, we're going to put the guidelines in, like this, and give her two circles. And I'm going to cut it right in half because I'm going to have her eyelids half closed. Or half open. Depends on how you look at things, folks. And there's her nose, and a big wide smile, some cheeks, and I'm working a little bit darker than I normally would, but I want you to see it at home. Can you see those lines? They're a little bit faint, I suppose. And now I want to go back and put some hair in. Now, I'm going to go like this, and some curly cues like this on the side. Now, while we're in the pencil stage, we make all our changes. If we don't like something, we change. Here's where we change it until we're happy. Now, once we're happy with it, we go back and we pick up a marker, and I got my tuning pencil here, which has got a medium-sized point. And with this point, I can get a nice thick and thin line with a little bit of hand pressure. So what I'll do is I'll go in, and I'll go over the lines that I've already put down with the pencil. Now, I don't have to follow those lines exactly. If I see something a little bit along the way where I'd like to change, I can do that. It all depends on your personal style. Some cartoonists have to have it exact before they ink it in, and then they go ahead. That's precise penciling. But I sometimes like to ink my way into the finished drawing. You know, just use the pencil lines as a guide. But it's got to be somewhat close. Put her lips in, and her earrings, and let's define that shape we started with. Here we go. Come down, put her hair in. Okay, now the next step is our, whoops, I'm going to put her necklace in. Next step is the eraser. Now, I'm using a kneaded rubber eraser, which is like a piece of dough or clay, and you can knead it, that's K-N-E-A-D-E-D, and you knead it like a piece of dough or clay, and it cleans itself by doing that. It just looks like a piece of clay, and all the pencil kind of cleans itself. And it's good because you can shape it to get into a hard-to-reach place, just like that. Now, a pink eraser, any eraser really works fine. And what you do is you go over your whole drawing after your ink is dried, like this. And you erase the pencil lines go, and the ink lines stay, and you've got a finished drawing that you're happy with. And when you are, you go to the next stage, which is coloring it in. And I use my color tuning pencils for this, and it really makes it come to life. So what I'm going to do is lay that pencil on its side. That way I cover a lot of ground that way. And look how nice that comes out. Get to the cheek, I go around in a circle. So leave that little white space. Yep, she's coming out great. Put a little bit of red for her lips. Then for her cheeks. Some yellow for her earrings and for her beads. Now let's see, how about some, oh, I got an orange for her hair. This is a great cartoon character. She's coming out great. Now, the next way I'd like to show you is a really neat gadget. There she is. Okay? Now, this next thing is a lot of fun, and it's called the Insta-Cartooner. And this is my way of creating many, many, many different cartoons. As a matter of fact, over 100,000, and I'm not exaggerating on that one. And what we do is we take this sheet here, which has got all these facial outlines, and we're going to put it down. And I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't slide around on me. And what we do is we select one of the faces. And I'm going to select one of the faces and then put some other overlays on it. I'll show you. Now this, I'm going to also get a piece of paper that isolates one of these faces so you won't be as confusing when we look at it. There you go. Now, I got these plastic overlay sheets, and what they do, we mix and match these features to create thousands of faces. So let's go back into that face right there, and let's put the eyes on there. So we select a pair of eyes. Let's see what eyes we'll give him. How about U's? See, look at some U's like that, like he's looking down real confident. And all the features fit on all the faces, and if you don't like the way it looks, you just turn it over. And it'll face the other way because they're clear and plastic. Okay, next, let's see, a nose. Oh, you could use that nose right there. Now watch how the mouth brings the whole thing together. That's one. Here he looks like he's gritting his teeth. Here he's smiling. Here he's laughing. This is funny. Here he goes. Now he's gritting his teeth again. Okay. You know what? We'll pick this little mouth right there, like he's very happy. And that's how you do it. Now what you would do is you would take a piece of tracing paper and trace that face. Or you just copy the face. And it's a great way to get a million different faces. I'm not exaggerating there. You can have a lot of fun with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw that face. Now I've already taken the time to recreate that face a little bit larger. Now let's add a cartoon body to it. Okay, now what we're going to do is take that face and we're going to add a body by adding a triangle. Just like that. And from the triangle, make a square. And if you cut that square right in half, you've got his legs, and you put his feet on. And for this part here, you make a V shape. And then you can put a bow tie in. And this fellow looks like a waiter. Let's put one arm out this way. And his hands. And this hand is holding the tray with all the food on it. And you can just put some detail like this and a glass. And cartoon effects and accessories. That's the smoke coming from the food, just like that. There it is. It's a great way to create a face from the Instacartooner. Okay, let's do another one. And now let me show you something first. All the faces we've been doing were straight on like this. Not turned anyway, just with those guidelines like crosshairs like that. But we don't want to use that. I've got a little friend over here who is ahead of his time. And what we're going to do is, if you look straight at this guy, you see those guidelines just like we've been drawing it, just like a cross. But if we move this, see, this is a three-dimensional object, like a balloon or an egg. And those guidelines seem to wrap around, looking up, down, left and right. And that's how you get cartoon heads to face in different directions. So let's do a couple drawings like that. He's married to the crash dummy, you know. So let's put this down. All right, let's draw another face here. Let's do an expression now. Expressions are very important because expressions are what breathe life into your cartoons, makes them appear to be thinking. So let's do, let's have an oval that was kind of squashed in the middle, like that. And again, if we're going to think of this as a three-dimensional object, like a balloon or an egg, let's have it turned. So wrap those guidelines around, like that. Okay, let's see. The expression we'll use is worried. We'll have this fella really worried. Put his noses in. Now, noses don't affect facial expressions one little bit. It's the mouth and the eyes. So let's put his mouth in, which is down like this because he's worried. And his eyes, well, we're going to have it wide open with just two little dots like that. And around the eyes, we're going to put some black because he's so scared. He's even got black circles around his eyes already. And his hair is all messed up from the worry. In fact, he may be worried because he's having a bad hair day. Who knows? And there you go. Now, for the cartoon effects and accessory. Now, cartoon effects and accessories, you'll hear a lot about those around here. And they're the little extra doodles around the drawing that add a little more punch to your drawing. Now, he looks worried, but if we add a couple more things like some perspiration, look how that just brings it to extra life here. What else might be happening to him? He might be shaking because he's so scared. So that's a good facial expression. Add a little bit of color to this guy. Put a little bit of red in his cheeks. That's how scared he is. Now let's do some more facial expressions. And I've got a great little exercise for you that you can try at home. I've prepared a couple drawings. And we can put facial expressions in them. Let's do the first one here. What we've got is a lady who has a microphone in her hand, and she's going to present it to a fellow who just opened the door, and she's saying, "You won $1 million." So what kind of facial expression would she have? Let's see. She might be real confident, and her eyes might be down like this, and she's real smug about this, put her nose in, and she's talking, so she's just smiling and her mouth's open like that. This is how you have two characters interacting in the same picture. Well, there she is. Now let's go back and let's draw the fella. Now, what kind of reaction would he have if he's winning $1 million? I think I know. I know how I would react anyway, so let's put his eyes bulging out like this. And vibrations to the eyeballs. Whoa, you can't believe it. And his nose, remember, noses don't affect anything, but his mouth, well, it's going to take up the rest of the shape. And let's put some teeth in. He can't believe it. And some extra lines, those extra cartoon effects and accessories. He's happy he won. Let's do another one. Okay, now I've got a baby being fed by his father, and it doesn't look like the father's doing so well. So let's start with the baby. Now, the baby isn't real happy, so let's say he'd be crying. So we're going to make that big shape. Takes up most of the baby's head. And here's his nose, and his eyes are shut, and his eyebrows are down. Now, his expression is because he's crying. And let's get some cartoon effects, some tears, even a sound effect. How is this? Wah. And that's the proper spelling for wah, folks. You have to have that H on there. Okay, let's go back and let's draw this guy now, who's feeding the baby. Now, what would he be like? He's not happy about this, so I got an idea. He has his eyes, he's exasperated, so his eyes are half closed and he's looking at us. Kind of like, I can't believe this. And he's got a pointy nose, let's say. And his mouth isn't doing very much of anything. He's kind of sad, so we'll just give him a little. And his eyebrows are up. He looks like he's had it. And there it is. Facial expressions. Like I say, that's what breathes life into your cartoons. Okay, now let's do, real fast, I'd like to show you a cartoon body. And this one here is going to be of a surfer. And his facial expression would be determined. And that's with his eyebrows down and a big confident smile, his teeth out, and here's his ear, and his hair is flowing back because even in cartoon world, everything comes into play, even the speed that he's coming into. Now for his body, we're going to start with the oldest trick, oldest method in the book, and that is a stick figure. And let's get the action in there, and that's what we want to do. We want to have the action in there. So these are his legs meeting at his knee, and that's his arms out. Now we'll go back and we're going to flesh this out. Now fleshing it out is an artist's term, which means just that. We're going to add some flesh to the stick figure. So let's go back in and let's thicken it up. That's what fleshing out is. Now, watch this. We've got his shoulder, his forearm, and out. Double it. Shoulder, forearm, and out. Now put his hand in, which is a circle, with a thumb and fingers. Go back and do this one. A circle, thumb, fingers. And let's put his bathing suit on, and that's down this way. And from here, here's one, and here's the other one. Now we're not drawing his feet, if you notice, because we're going to come back and we're going to draw a surfboard on this one. Kind of covers everything. And there we have a great surfer, some cartoon effects. He's speeding along, and some water, and some perspiration from him. And of course, a water pose wouldn't be complete without our friend back here. And that's what you're always supposed to do in cartooning, folks. You're always supposed to try to incorporate a funny idea. And there you have it. Okay, next up, our feature of the day with Shake-a-Face. All right, this is a real cool project, and it starts with a piece of foam core. Now, you can use foam core, you can use illustration board, or even poster board, but something a little stiffer than paper. Okay, we're starting with this. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to draw a little bit on it. Half of a face, and you'll see why in a second. Start with an eye, right here, and an eyebrow, and some hair. And some hair going down this way, and an ear, and the back of the head, down to a neck, and there. And let's put a smile in, just like that. I guess you've already noticed that there's no rest of the face, but that's where the fun part comes in. Okay, so what we're going to do is take this, what we've already drawn, and use a very technical tool to make some holes. It's called a pencil. So what we're going to do is make a hole right at the base of the eye, poke it right through, a little bit. I'm going to go through it a little bit, make a bigger hole, and put one right at the top of the neckline. Okay, now that that's done, make those holes a little bit bigger. Get a piece of chain from a hardware store, the kind that you pull a light switch down with, and feed it through those holes that you made. And when you get to the other side, get a piece of tape and just tape it in place, no problem. And take the other piece and fish it through, just like we did on the first one. And when you do, you don't want too much slack. Let's see. Maybe just a little bit more, just like that. On the other side, tape it again. Now, this is where it gets its name, Shake-a-Face, because now this is the fun part. Okay, now, if you shake this and stop, you get one profile, and you can keep going, you get another one. Here you go, like this, up high. Or you can even put your fingers in there and reposition it any way you want. Get real crazy faces. And you can keep doing it over and over again, and it goes on forever. And this is a way to create lots of cartoon types. Here, like that guy. Yeah, shake it again, see what we get. Oh, here you go, I like that one. No chin at all. Okay, try this one at home. It's a lot of fun. Next up, cartoon doodle tricks. Everybody loves doodle tricks, and some friends stop by because they love when I turn some numbers or letters into finished cartoons. And let's start with a couple numbers. Let's start with the number 5. That's a great one to do because it's got that big curve right here, and we can see what we can turn that into. Now, ready for this? We add a line over here, and an ear over here, another one over there, and make a nose, and a crazy little mustache coming out this side. In my cartoons, I like to take things to the max. Makes it funnier. Let's put a couple eyes in, like that, and a couple funny hairs coming out. And you're saying, well, what's that? Well, that's a chef hat. Like that? That's a good one. Let's do another quickie, okay? Let's see, this time we'll use the number 6. Oh, 6 is a good one. You like this one. 6, and I won't tell you what it's going to become. If we put a face right here, and an ear on each side, some hair, and this part here is going to become his legs because this guy's doing a handstand. That's a good one, huh? You can practice these at home. What you do is you just go through the alphabet and get all the letters and go through the numbers and try to turn them into finished cartoons. Now, do you remember at the beginning of the show, I said we would draw a boy and we would find out the reason why he's so happy? He's a happy little boy, and we'll find out that reason why. Okay, start with an ear, one here, one there, and we'll draw the side of his face. And let's see, we'll put a scarf on him because it's wintertime and it's cold. Now, let's give him some fluffy hair. Yeah, that works. Maybe he's happy because he's got fluffy hair. I mean, it's possible, right? All right, now let's put his eyes in. He's having a good hair day. That's it. That's why he's happy. No, that's not right. Here's his nose. And a big smile because he's happy. Let's see over here. His eyebrows are up because he's so happy. Let's finish up the hair. And let's make that look real fluffy up here by adding some curly cues. Now, it's wintertime. It's cold out. Why might somebody be real happy?
Because it's Christmas time.
Christmas time might be the reason. As a matter of fact, that is the reason. He's thinking about Santa. Like that? Well, that's all the time we have for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you did at home. Now, for the Blitz tip, I've got a good one for you today. You know, when you have to get something done, there's no substitute for doing it in a step-by-step way. Because if you miss a step, you're probably going to get thrown back a few steps, and it's going to take you that much longer. And another way of saying that would be, there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Got a picture of me here, successful cartooning many miles ahead, because there's no shortcut to hard work and practice. I'm Bruce Blica saying thanks for being with me, and
keep on cartooning!
That's right.